Namah Shivaya, Arsonist Fire, here on the Way of Dharma. For our topic today, we are going to speak about a few bizarre things that we have here in African spirituality, or rather, should I say, South African spirituality. Stay tuned, make sure that you watch until the end, as you may be interested in some of the things that we will be discussing over here. The Way of Dharma is a channel whereby we discuss various spiritual topics ranging from the Western esoteric system to the Eastern traditions of spirituality and occultism, specifically the Oriental secrets and philosophies of the ancient Orientals, and also the African spiritual systems and spiritual practices, both in the modern day and in the ancient times. So this is basically what our channel covers in a nutshell. So for our topic today, I'm going to talk about a few of the bizarre things that we encounter in everyday life in South Africa and in our impoverished neighborhoods. So basically, these are the bizarre things that happen, and also I think we will get carried away and discuss many other aspects of this video. So guys, please make sure that you do like, make sure that you do subscribe. Please guys, keep the engagements going up. I'm seeing a drop in the way I'm receiving subscribers, and I'm seeing a drop in the engagement of the previous videos. I'm not getting as much views as I'm used to getting. So please guys, make sure that you do watch, make sure that you do support, because I really need your help, guys. So anyways, for our topic today, we are going to talk about such things. Before we continue, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. If you are new, welcome to the Way of Dharma. Welcome to those of you who are returning viewers and who are subscribers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya. Surya Koti Samaprabha. Nirviginam Kurume Deva. Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Rishibhyo Namaha. Om Pitribhyo Namaha. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Siddhoga Namaha. Om Divyoga Namaha. Om Manavyoga Namaha. Om Saptarishaya Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mangalani Bhavantu. Harihi Om. Namaste everyone. So guys, I want to talk about some of the bizarre practices that we have here in South Africa and in Africa as a general. Guys, we have people who are sorcerers and witches who are in actuality going about their lives in everyday time, in every night time. They basically go out of their way to ruin the lives of innocent people, to ruin the lives of innocent bystanders, innocent youth who are out here trying to make a living, who are out here trying to basically remove each and every case of impoverishment in which they encounter in this lifetime. So paying attention to the fact that we do in actuality have karma with such people that we find ourselves among, I'd like to really emphasize this fact that we really need to look to the practice and teachings of spirituality to defend ourselves, to actually get over that karma, to try and pay back what we owe these people. And also these people, it would be imperative to them to actually practice a higher form of magic and spirituality, which would allow them to actually be above these practices that they do. One of these practices is the famous practice in South Africa of a beast, basically, to possess someone in life who is actually a normal person, and to possess them with a spirit from the graveyard, to actually do what? To actually possess that person and go out of their way to ruin that person's life, basically. I mean, there's such practices whereby you can actually go to the graveyard and actually go to a random grave of just anybody to do what? To actually take the spirit of that person and send it to wreak havoc among the people, basically. So that's one practice of it. Basically, how does this work? You go there to the graveyard, you utter certain incantations. Obviously, you start by greeting that person. You have a chicken, obviously. You have a few herbs, and then there's some things that you say, and some herb you actually feed to this chicken, and then you end up killing this chicken, and you call that spirit of that dead person inside of that chicken using that herb to actually awaken it. And then after doing so, you give it permission to actually go out there and wreak havoc on a person's life, to actually go out there and possess another person, another human being. How this works, you would actually command this spirit to possess a person, and then that spirit becomes in control of that person, basically. And then you find situations whereby a person can't seem to further their studies, to finish what they aspire to in life, to try and attain something which is beneficial to them. In some cases, you find that this entity is actually heavy on the aforementioned individual, making that individual to actually go to bed for a long time. You find people sleeping throughout the day up until midday, noon, basically. You find someone sleeping up until that time. You find that person becoming more and more impoverished, finding this person having ways of procrastination. You find this person basically doing what? You find this person, I'm sorry guys, I keep on burping in every video. I have a strong mercury. My bodies, the Vata, Pitta and Kapha. I don't know what's going on, but when you can check, someone who has a strong mercury actually does have those things. And also memory tends to run away from me because my mind is always hopping about. You might find that I'm eloquent in my speech, in how I speak to you, but then I keep on forgetting stuff. It's because of this mercury. It's, yes, basically doing that. I have to do some rituals to actually do what? To actually strengthen those areas in which I'm lacking. So yes, guys, I wanted to say that you find a person procrastinating, you find a person sleeping throughout the morning up until noon, you find a person having nightmares, you find a person having something that sleeps with them in the night, you find that this very entity becomes a spiritual husband of that person that you are trying to torment and torture in this lifetime. So this spirit basically wreaks havoc upon that individual. It's like a spirit possessing you and then animating your body while you are behind the scenes watching everything as it unfolds. I can imagine it can be something very, very traumatic and terrible, because imagine somebody having control over your own body, guys. I have something also that I want to discuss with you. I don't think, or maybe I'm not confident enough, but I think I'll talk about I'll talk about it just now. So also we have that practice of um, taking a person and faking their death, and then basically what you would do, you would take herbs to feed that person and actually suspend, or rather you take out the consciousness of that person out of their body, and then after doing that they become unconscious. After becoming unconscious, they get to be declared dead, while you go to that person's body, the corpse of that person, you work magic on it, you use a few herbs, a certain herbs on it, and then you basically activate certain centers in their brain to actually animate that spirit. You find that it's a spirit, not a spirit basically, it's a body. Suppose somebody is athletic, somebody is of a good endurance, somebody has a brilliant stamina. You find that they have those characteristics, and then you would find that there's a traditional healer. Guys, I'm sorry to say traditional healer and not going into specific details of what type of a person I'm talking about. I don't literally mean the healers in this field. I'm speaking of the wizards and witches in this field. So what they basically do, they see somebody of such physical strength, such energy, and then they want to use this person to actually do what? To further their works, to go and basically do everything for them. You find that this person would be suspended, their consciousness would be suspended, subjugated in a state of, I don't know if you've watched Get Out. There's a movie, Get Out. You get to put the consciousness of a person behind the scenes, and then you have certain characteristics taking over that person. So basically you switch off certain brain centers, which will then go do what? Which will switch off the consciousness, the various consciousnesses of that person, and then you basically get a zombie basically out of that person, and then this person would work tirelessly, this person wouldn't bath, this person would have ugly complexion. And I've been watching something prior to coming here, as I was with my baby girl. So apparently this person had her death faked, and then as you look at this person, she doesn't look very, very nice. She actually looks like somebody who has risen from the dead, which is something that is very, very common among us South Africans. You hear of such stories of people being taken. That's why it's imperative that you actually be there to witness the body of someone you are trying to bury. You don't just go to the hospital, look at the body, and then you accept whatever casket or coffin that the undertaker is sending to you without checking in actuality and identifying the body of the person of which you are doing what you are trying to bury basically. So sometimes you get some entities that are inserted in the coffin, in the casket, to actually fake the body or the corpse of the person that you are trying to bury. And then you find that that thing has been taken, or sometimes it's a dummy or a doll, because these people use herbs to actually do what? To actually fool the crowd, to actually lack interest in checking, to try to confirm that the body or the corpse is in actuality the one of which you are trying to bury. So such things do happen, and then you find yourself burying a dummy, and then burying a dummy while the real person, the real corpse, is still alive but has certain brain centers which are switched off to actually animate this living body to further their works, their karmas basically. And then another thing, we also have children. It's a technique. Babies, baby spirits, which are taken from mothers' wombs in the form of miscarriages, in the form of abortions basically. There's traditional healers who work with doctors and people in the government and politicians to actually further this cause. How do they do this? They actually go and take those fetuses from abortion clinics and hospitals, and then they come back to do rituals with those fetuses. And then in some cases, because whenever you start to impregnate or to use a seed or an egg, life begins, and life never stops from the day of fertilization and conception basically. When you start to impregnate someone, I don't care if you abort that baby, but it will still carry on to live in other subtler vibrational planes. This is the realm of witches and wizards and sorcerers. So the sorcerers take advantage of these things. And then what do? They actually take those children and then they use them in workings. Another way of taking a dead spirit from the graveyard is actually doing what? Taking the spirit of a dead baby or taking the spirit of a dead person and send it out to actually work for you. Instead of taking an individual, you can actually send it out to serve you, to work for you. There's some cases whereby yards are being cleaned each and every day at around 4 a.m. in the morning. You find that certain yards are always clean around that time because these spirits are able to work throughout those times and actually clean. So these are the spirits of the dead people, and in some cases these are zombies. They work very they work very conspicuously. You wouldn't notice them because that's how they work basically. There's strong herbal jujus that they have that help them to further these causes. And then another form of these workings is an actuality through the work of a tokoloshi. What's a tokoloshi? A tokoloshi is an entity. It's a zombie, which is a mini one, basically. It's a homunculi spirit, which is a short dwarf version entity, which is being ruled by sorcerers and witches and wizards, basically. This works just like the zombie, but it is in actuality a short one. These things actually like they like sex basically. How you would appease such a thing? You would appease it by giving it sex. So if you would want to rule such a thing, you'd have to have access of sex, either through whatever that you want to send it to, it will fulfill and further its cause, or either through you. So these things can also be used in the attainment of money. Basically, that's what it is. And I'm going to tell you a story about one of these entities, a first-hand experience, not in terms of mano a mano or seeing ilano or eye for an eye makes the world blind. Anyway, let's talk about this thing. We nafi stop low, we nafi stray away from the topic. So yes, guys, these things can be used in such cases to get money, to torment and terrorize people, and they are being used, I'd like to say nightly or daily, to effect change in people's lives. It's a very, very sad thing to actually speak about these things, because they affect our daily lives every day. Those of us who live in impoverished societies. Also, because I had the chance of staying here in Soweto, and I had the chance of staying in Kagiso, in FG, one of the loans. A loan, what would be a loan? A loan is a house that would be bought by the working class, basically. This can only be attained by those who work in the government sector. So also it can be attained by those who have a salary of two working people, or just anyone who works for a company that is well paying, basically. So you would qualify for such a thing. I think they call it a mortgage in the Western countries. I think that's what they call it. But anyway, I grew up there in Kagiso. My father was actually working class. My mother was also working class, but she went out of her job earlier than I was born. Anyway, let's talk about what we are actually talking about here. So in that neighborhood, I also got to encounter some of the witchcraft that was going on in that place. So many strange things that were happening in that neighborhood. Even when I go at my age, at this age, there's an energy that I feel. There's a certain aura around that place that you feel instantly when you go into that place. Yes, guys. So even in such cases where you would find middle class, working class, there's also witchcraft, basically. So also here in Soweto, I would like to think that this neighborhood that I'm living in is actually impoverished, I'd like to think. At least not to the degree of shacks and squatter camps, but it is impoverished. It is in actuality impoverished. So in such a case, we have these workings of witchcraft, basically. I see myself, I am becoming more lenient and becoming more gentle when I approach the occult nowadays. This is due to the fact that now I have somebody that I actually have to live for. I basically have an attachment. The more you get entrapped into the material world, you actually form attachments, trying to seek for whatever that you lack inside. For me, I was seeking companionship, basically. So now I have a companion in the form of, baby girl, I'm sorry that I had you. So I have such a companion. So now I have something to live for. So in every pursuit of my spirituality, I tread with caution, basically, as opposed to what I used to do when I was starting out in my areas of occultism, or rather, let's just say earlier last year, before this time, around March, April, I was actually a different person as compared to what I am today. I was an aggressive practitioner, basically, spiritualist, ritualist, basically. So I've noticed such a change. So in this neighborhood, impoverished neighborhood, there's also witchcraft brewing, and it's doing so every day. In my neighborhood, it was said that my grandmother was in actuality a witch. I cannot confirm this. I don't think it was the case, because my grandmother was in actuality a teacher. She actually came from a royal family. She experienced kingship and the royalty at her in her childhood in Qwaqwa, Free State. So she came here, she became a teacher because they were trying to kill us in our hometown, in our province, basically. It was such a thing, basically. So she came here, she was able to stay afloat as a single parent for a long time, because in such instances you would find that you wouldn't qualify for free housing, which is of a much larger capacity if you are a single woman, basically, not even a single parent who is a father. As a single woman. So you'd find a lady who was chased away from kingship, who experienced the high life, who was in actuality a princess, who experienced all of those things, to come here and be impoverished and still work as a teacher. So they couldn't fathom how she was making it. So they called her a witch. And then plus there was also a cat that she owned, basically. So various people were accusing her of witchcraft and sorcery. So yes, that's what they were accusing her of. But as we grow, as these things are being revealed to us, I discover that in actuality my next door neighbor and some of the people that are around here in the location are actually guilty of practicing witchcraft, basically. How do I notice this? When I came into initiation, self-initiation, that is, in 2019, I used to work a lot with Shri Ganapati. So fast forward into 2020, there's a recurring of death, basically. People are dying next door neighbors, basically. I don't want to talk much because I don't know basically who's watching this video, basically. So they die, basically. And then you find that in some of the things that they used to do, because they used to, you see, when you banish a yard, basically, you throw out salt and water, or salt water, only in the confines of your yard. But in this case, these people, when they do such wagings, they actually throw out the water into our yard. So I used to witness this as I was going to high school. In my high school years, basically, you'd find that around 5 a.m. you'd see water in our yard, and you'd see someone throwing water like this around those times, and they didn't even care, basically. So I start working with Ganesh, all those things stop. Okay, so now years later, the people die, they start to become respectful. Last year I opened I opened up a business, basically a small business, informal business. I sell cigarettes, I sell energy drinks, I sell pizzas, I sell t-shirts, I sell masks, COVID masks. I do that. I get money. Obviously, I get my girlfriend too. I sell candles also, and there was a traditional healer opposite of me also, who happens to be a tenant in that opposite yard. So she stays there. People who go to consult to her buy candles from me, and then all of a sudden things harden, and the timing also was bad, because last year we had a long Saturn retrograde, so that worked against me also. And that opposite house, the one that I'm talking about, they had a ritual in 2020 yes, it was 2019, early 2019, before I got in deeply into the practices of Luciferianism and spirituality. So I'm only acquainted with speaking to my ancestors basically. So I go attend that ritual because you know what people do. Another thing that I have to tell you guys and warn you about. Here in South Africa, we have people who are doing yearly rituals, slaughtering chicken or slaughtering goats or cows each and every year to actually appease their ancestors. In such a case, when you do that, we call it a pact. They say orwezi, basically. Uh, it's a pact, basically. Whatever that you feed blood in African spirituality, you get bound to it. So if you constantly do that, when you stop doing that, you're not going to get favorable results. So basically, you have created a pact unconsciously to actually further your cause on this planet. So these people do these things. They also do tombstones and all those ritual things. Be aware of such people. Never hang out with such people that know their rituals, basically. They are traditional rituals that they go through, because in most cases these people always do these rituals and they are impoverished, unless if you find someone of a good heart, someone you can verify that is actually a good vibrational, high vibrational person. But in other cases, be aware of these people. So they do the ritual, I attend the ritual. I had another girlfriend at the time. So she no, she doesn't come. Yes, I attend the ritual, I come back home, and then I sleep. As I'm sleeping in the morning, there's someone in my yard who is stealing things. He broke into my yard, he jumped into my yard, and actually that did what? Opened up a box that we had outside that had all the things in there. So this person, I'm hearing books being thrown out, gurrum, gurrum sounds, and then I wake up. As I go out, you see this room, it's currently connected to my bedroom now. So I have an ashram which is connected to my bedroom. But at that time, as you have witnessed in my previous videos, I actually had a wall, and I used to do a lot of my videos, and then behind me you'd see a wall. So I'd have a chair, and then behind me would be a wall, and then I'd use my laptop as a video camera, basically. So I had a wall, basically. So now it's one thing. So my altar knife was in actuality in my ashram. I had nothing at the time. I was brave, basically. Like I told you, furious lion, because I'm a furious lion. I don't know now. Maybe you might come and mash me up, because it's been a while since I've been a furious lion. You know, man, having someone attached to you, man, changes a lot of things, man. It changes a lot of things. Anyway, I go out, I see this person, because now I've never experienced such a thing. I see this person, then I asked him, does he want to die? This guy instantly pulls out a gun and points it at me, and then I come back to go into my room looking for a key to actually unlock my ashram and get the knife and chase him. Slow. I've never experienced such a thing. Maybe I should have called my friend, like, a fire. And then my friend comes, and then we beat this person up. But it didn't happen like that, because I'm new to these things. I've never experienced such a thing. So this person steals stuff and goes. The ritual happened on a weekend, on Saturday. On Monday, I had this encounter. So instantly, I was able to connect the dots that something is wrong, basically. So I take the footprints of that person. I do a ritual with my ancestors. The next day, this person was arrested. Basically, he was caught in another street. Stupidly so, this person was busy walking around, and then a gun fell out, and then the police stopped him and they came and took him into custody. Now, the aforementioned people that I'm telling you about, the ones that always do rituals, my girlfriend, her uncle saw this person, the uncle who stays there, with a short father, a little man, last year. This aforementioned Tokolosh. It was with this guy. And then he told him that, what are you walking with, man? And that guy was brushing it off and laughing. Like, nah, man, I'm not walking with anything, and laughing it off. But the uncle saw that something was wrong. And then he obviously chased him away. And then from that part on, he didn't like this guy. So anyway, we are not there. He tells my girlfriend about it, and then my girlfriend tells me about it. So while there was still a traditional practitioner who stayed opposite to my house, the one that lived in that uncle's house, another mother from a house after my next door neighbor was drunk, and she actually saw a short father coming out of the traditional healer's house, being stolen or being taken by another traditional healer into a car and then left. Afterwards, her business over there, it fell, and they had a mash out. They ended up leaving that place out of conflict, because this person was now raising up the rent, and that person was basically leaving this place. And those traditional healers, they love me so much. I don't know, maybe they sense that I'm a good person, or they are doing some bad works behind my back. But they love me so much, like they smile. Maybe it's a fake smile. And these people over there used to love me a lot last year while they were buying cigarettes. But they couldn't enter my yard while they were doing so. They would rather stand there by the gate. They wouldn't enter my house. So they were always laughing. I think they were backbiting. So those traditional healers are constantly prompting me to go and sell ice to them because I used to sell ice in the summertime. You'd see me walking with those ice things. Ice guavas, like the Nyaope people, the drug addicts that you would see in the streets selling. I would do that. I don't care. I can even do it now. I do have ego, but I don't care. Anyway, and every time they direct me to that place, I get lost. It's for a cause, basically. So then they left, and then business fell. What else did I want to discuss? Oh, another bizarre thing, among the things that they send to actually create adverse effects on a person's life in South African spirituality, there's also rats that they send. These rats, and there's a similar story in America by a book by Carlos Castaneda, who is in actuality an initiate of Don Juan. Don Juan is a Mexican native doctor, a shaman, who practiced the art of using a datura, making it into a paste, and then using it along with the lizards. One would be sewn its eyes, another would be sewn its mouth, and these lizards would be used to find information and answer whatever question that you would have. So it's a shamanic way of doing the thing. So in South African spirituality, we have the same practice of feeding these rats herbs and performing certain rituals whereby you are able to send that rat to steal money. You can send that rat to do what? To spy. The most common way of using this thing would be to spy. Remember, in my previous videos, I told you that I was expecting a beautiful soul. And I'm not saying that you should come and try to wither magic at me. You're about to get disappointed. Anyway, so Suddenly, they just discovered that me and my girlfriend, were something in the store. They send these spy rats, they flood. You know, it's like certain waves that we have in our relationship. The moment we see rats accumulating in our yard, in her yard, I know automatically that there's somebody who's sending magic to our way, trying to spy on our lives. So these rats, they accumulate and then they come, and then these rats are stubborn, and then they perform a banishing ritual. The rats go. I don't. I wait before I perform the banishing ritual. Um, Reason why I don't like to perform rituals and magic here at my house, it's because I live with my mother, and my mother, whenever I do something to enhance our lives through spiritual means, it's like I'm giving her a ticket to ruin life even more, basically. I remember doing a money ritual for her. She went and lost that money, basically. So it's like I'm promoting her nonsense, you see. Not to be disrespectful, but this is how I feel, basically. So I've stopped doing any good positive magic for our yard because of that, as a way to protect her from herself. That's the way I think. You might see it otherwise, and you may comment, and thank you for whatever that you comment, but I'm not going to pay attention to it. You have to come and live into my shoes, and I go, whether in India or in America, and then I take your spot. I become a sannyasa. We can do that, and then you'll do whatever that you think is right for her. Anyway, these rats, I see them here, and then all of a sudden, my girlfriend's aunt spots an animal. It jumps from that house, and then it crosses, and then it enters our yard, moves through the tree, jumps into the yard, and she goes in. And when she goes in, she actually does what? And I'm hearing ringing in my ears. She goes in her yard. She tries to sleep. So at night, this entity is climbing on her roof, beating about the roof and making such noises. Also, my mom hears the same noises, very same day, guys. Same noises of those things. So another day, when it's load shedding, my mom comes from wherever she comes from, sees this entity, and then notices it's a dark creature, short one. It moves in a clumsy way, and it crosses. And when she appears, it sort of like pauses and loses its movement. Like that. This happens a lot. This happens a lot, especially with witches that were seen to be flying in South Africa or in Africa in general. Whenever you spot them, they instantly fall down from whatever that they were flying from, and then they can't move. You understand? You've stifled their movement. You've stifled them by actually seeing what they practice, basically. So sees this entity, crosses and jumps, moves towards the tree, and then she doesn't describe where it goes from there. But then, the very same avocado tree, the guy who's in actuality the cousin of my girlfriend once saw it, because these are people who roam about at night, saw it under the tree, says it has the face of the father who lives next door, mind you, was shot hiding behind the avocado tree. Okay, sees such a thing. Mom also confirms that. So now I'm worried now. How? All of a sudden now I'm hearing noises now. These noises are coming from that direction, from next door. It sounds like it's a baby crying. You understand? But it's not a baby. It also, if you wouldn't pay attention to it, it also sounds like it's a cat. But it's not a cat. So it constantly keeps on crying every night now. And this was 2 weeks back. And then now I'm getting sick and tired of this. I absent myself from school. I do what? I perform a ritual with Mata Bagalamuki. A tantric ritual, a fire homa miyagnya. I do this, and then immediately the next day, this thing vanishes. Oh, okay. When it vanishes, prior to performing the ritual, I'm busy banishing things around from the yard. As I'm banishing, the father from the opposite, the uncle from the opposite, is greeting me while this person sees that I'm busy. One of my mother's friends come from where she's staying to come and enter our yard while I'm busy doing that stuff. And another friend with my mother both walks into the yard while I'm doing this thing. So now, my opinion on these things, when you are banishing a house, it's imperative or important or crucial that you limit the foot flow of people walking in and out of your yard, because these people are what? They are physical, you understand? So the aura of the yard of the house can be pierced by somebody who is physical, but these entities that I'm speaking of, they are in actuality spiritual beings. They are spiritual beings. So when a house has a strong aura, it overwhelms such entities. So now when it overwhelms such entities, you find a low vibrating individual walking into your house, piercing the aura of the place, and then recharging themselves from the spiritual vibration of the place, and then lowering the vibration, making it susceptible to such entities basically. As for the person who was greeting me while I'm doing this, maybe they think they are disturbing me in a way so that they can continue with their works. So I do a Baglamuki ritual, it stops, and then all of a sudden I see the father from next door. So now he's shaken, he's shook now. He greets me while I greet him. He pretends that as though he doesn't see me when I pass. So I greet him, pretend like everything is nice, but for some reason he's upset. So it stops happening. Till now it has stopped. Yes guys, so this is what I wanted to discuss with you. People are working tirelessly, trying to ruin our lives, trying to stop us from going anywhere in this life. We have to take the responsibility in our hands, take our own power, and mash up these people. I'm telling you right now, with Devi Baglamuki, with the gods and goddesses of Hinduism, and with the spiritual practice that I have, nothing of these people can stop me. And as I'm going through these things, I'm learning even the vibration of these entities. The Hindus, the Indians, when they tell you that such entities are high vibrational, you can attain certain states of being unconquerable by low vibrating entities. They are telling the truth. These are higher deities and higher energies. These cannot be stopped by mere necromancy and spirits of the dead. These people require herbs and medicine, and require to go to a graveyard to take the soil, and they require a chicken to actually command the spirits of the dead. We in Hinduism, we have a mantra that can attract any entity to you and actually have the power to control that entity to do whatever that you want. Working with such an entity, I'm still telling you now, might bring results, but you are a lower quality person as compared to somebody who's working with a higher entity. You can't touch them basically. I'm telling you, you can't do anything. So with Devi Baglamuki, you can stop the efforts of the enemy from attacking you. And then with Shri Mahapratyangira, you reverse the energy that they are sending to you. I'm sorry, the latter, if you are a nice person like me, the latter shouldn't be dabbled with so much. Start with Devi Baglamuki. Stop these enemies. And I'm sorry, even with Devi Baglamuki, these people are in trouble. You understand? They are in trouble. You understand? So they don't know who they are working with. You know, it's so funny, man. Foolish people and low vibrational people never think any further than what they see, what they think is apparent. So they keep on acting in ignorance and in whatever way that they are acting in. Anyway, this is what I wanted to discuss with you. I hope you found it interesting. For those of you who come from America, the Western Hemisphere, I love my brothers, African brothers in the Western Hemisphere, though I keep on criticizing most of them on many things, but I in actuality am in love with these people. I'm grateful because they are my first initiators into the spiritual path. I don't want to lie. Even in the aspect of eating right and healthy. Brothers from the Western Hemisphere, I'm grateful, forever grateful. You are my gurus. You understand? Though I keep on criticizing you, you are my gurus. Love you so much. White people, you initiated me into this life. You understand? You stole knowledge from the native cultures. Now you put it on the internet for us to have access to it. Grateful for that. Indians, the top of the people of whom I adore so much. Grateful. Your knowledge, it's powerful. Whatever that I'm learning from you, it's powerful. I'm grateful. You are not prejudiced. You don't hate me. You don't give me any negativity as you would experience if you were to come here in South Africa to practice such things. Our people wouldn't be kind to you. I'm grateful that you accept me the way I am, as a black person as I am. So yes, guys, it's always an honor speaking to you. If you haven't subscribed and you have been watching this far, thank you for watching. First place. Second place, please make sure that you do subscribe. Please make sure that you do like. If you have any questions and any ideas on future videos, please make sure that you do comment and tell me about it. Guys, it's real. African people, we are at the lowest vibration. It's unfortunate that we keep on doing these things. I hope we become saved from this. I hope whatever that I'm fighting for now gets to be spread. This energy that I have of positive, well, I don't want to claim I have the energy of positivity. I still like women. Anyway, whatever spark of divinity that I have, may it inspire you to become the best version of yourself. We can't be doing witchcraft in the aforementioned ways. We can't be practicing spiritual works in the aforementioned ways to be suppressing the other individual, to be having such a karma. We can't be doing that. Let's move ahead. Build YouTube channels. Do something constructive instead of doing that, man. Anyway, this is Arsonist Fire here on the Way of Dharma 108. It's always an honor and a pleasure speaking to you. La Morena, please make sure that you do contact me as you said you would. I'm waiting on you. Whoever wants numerological readings also and consultations can reach me through my email at arsonist.fya@gmail.com. You can link me up there and we will schedule. Whoever wants a video collaboration and wants to speak to me, maybe owns a channel from America or anywhere basically, can link me up, do collaborations. I won't ask for any money. Spiritual topics, keep it highly, keep it sattvic, and keep it pure. Om Namah Shivaya, Arsonist Fire, here on the Way of Dharma.